that is from book 3 of my series, and Faith goes into the quantum fusion reactor space inside of Mount Fuji because somebody seems to be trying to hack it with quantum entanglement. Somebody somewhere else, and there is a sister fusion reactor underneath Mount Yotei, which is considered Mount Fuji's sort of sister mountain, and it's on Hokkaido to the north, the big island of Hokkaido, and they had 2 identical reactors, and the bad guy has taken over that one, and he uses the quantum entanglement to teleport himself into Mount Fuji and try to take it over. And she's right there when it happens, kind of similar to your guy getting into the spider jar.
Hacking
So
right in.
He shows up, and it's somewhat of the inspiration of that big orange circle on my cover.
Like a portal. It's kind of like a portal.
So my quantum fusion reactor, some of the fusion reactors are big horizontal circles, and they hold the plasma in a hovering position, so it doesn't melt anything. The plasma is super, super hot, and it's spinning in a horizontal circle, held up by magnets.
Right.
And so this one is vertical instead of horizontal, and it's quantum. So it's always going clockwise, and if you walk around the other side of it and look at it the other way, it's also spinning clockwise because it's in superposition. It's spinning both ways. Right. The cat is both alive and dead at the same time.
Love
so
that's great.
There's a whole lot of that in this 5,000 word short story that I just had so much fun. And you find out things about Faith. You're like, what happened to her? And because she's very different physically, I won't say how, in this short story than she is in the original book. So some real bad stuff happens in book 2. And it affects her greatly, and you see that when she shows up in Mount Fuji. You're like, if you've read book 1, and hardly anybody has it at the moment, it's like 20 people have, I think.
I'll definitely be 21 because we're like soul brothers in terms of our whole approach.
And it was so much fun. That's the Fellowship is a group that formed on Twitter and then went to a Discord and wrote an anthology together. There's 19 authors, and it's all have to do with you had to put a monolith in your story, and there's a monolith that forms in the middle of the teleportation fusion thing that the bad guy steps out of the monolith. And
good 2001 homage that you guys did. What I love also about your description is you always come back to the character. So you just described the sophisticated quantum portal. There's entanglement. There's teleportation. There's all this hocus pocus. There's a world. But you go back to how the character feels about it. And that makes for good writing. The chapter where I introduce the spider's jar, this ultimate simulator, which gets technical and gets philosophical. I call it Hating Mondays because the spider's in his web hovering above the jar that gets hacked into. And it's a frickin' Monday. The spider's hungover. He just got a trillion queries for his ultimate simulator. And he's over it. He's exhausted and he's lazy because he figures if he responds to 3 queries or 3 billion, it doesn't matter because so many have accumulated. And it's Monday, and then he gets hacked on a Monday.
Just
and
piles
then the
on.
powers that be, because the avatar hacking his ultimate simulator is literally ransoming the universe or the multiverse. So you have his boss showing up physically, not as a hologram, but the ships are entering. There's a battle, and all this shit goes down on a Monday. And it's all through this curmudgeonly old spider's point of view. And that humanizes the narrative. And it allows me as a writer and a geek to get into the science and get into the world building and really geek out in a way where it always ties back to the characters, how they're interacting with each other. The spider hates the general and the executive bureaucrat, and it's that tripartite typical thing of, MacArthur and Truman, right? And then the research scientists. So they're archetypes. But if you lose sight of that as a writer, you're going to lose your readers, and you're no longer literary force. You're now a Wikipedia article.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
No,
the key difference.
Your focus on the character side of it. I didn't even say who comes out of the portal because I don't want to spoil for people, but I'll tell you later when we're not on record. But you're absolutely right. Who steps out of the portal is a pivotal character. So that's really cool.